another thing that came out of the Monaco Grand Prix weekend, that especially at the beginning when we were talking about it, or when we started hearing about things, the developments of the track, early Wednesday, Thursday, is that the Bianchi family, Jules Bianchi's parents, and their family, their whole family, is suing F1.
Uh-oh.
Now, here's the thing, though. And even the guys on Sky, they were like, yeah, we can't really comment about this. But this is the luxury that we have here on this podcast. We can comment on whatever the fuck we want. So we're gonna comment on it. And here's the background. Jules Bianchi had he had a terrible crash in a Japanese Grand Prix 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was typhoon weather, and they still decided to go ahead. They decided to go ahead with the race when they did, due to what could be, like, you could say that it was pure financial or commercial considerations.
Television commercials.
Yeah, it was because they couldn't. They would have, if they were
Get
gonna.
these cars out there now. We need to show commercials.
Yeah, and also because they could have chosen, like, what if the FIA was strong armed enough, they could have said, and this is what they were considering, of just pushing the race time back. But Bernie wasn't going to allow that because the networks, the broadcasters,
Right.
had allocated their broadcast time for F1 at a certain time, and they couldn't push it back because
Broadcast time.
yeah, exactly. So in that view, what the Bianchi family wants is that, because when it came out to do a formal investigation, and they did, the investigation that was commissioned by the FIA on this accident basically said that yes, like, maybe there shouldn't have been that that heavy equipment. There's that big crane there.
30,000-pound truck on the track.
Yeah, maybe shouldn't have been there. They maybe shouldn't have gone out and, like, raced when it was so wet. But it ultimately laid the blame fully and squarely on Jules himself. They said he should have slowed down because he didn't slow down.
The same thing happened with was named Maria Di Viotta. It was her fault. They had some better lawyers and put it a little bit more eloquently. Their quote was they had an unexpected acceleration event that led to Maria Di Viotta's coma. She eventually came out of her coma. For those that don't know, she came out of her coma, but she lost one of her eyes, about a fifth of her brain or something in the front, and then she ended up dying like a year and a half later. She came out of the coma, got married, wrote a book, and then died.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But similar accidents. It was both the driver's fault for accelerating too fast and hitting a truck. Now,
this is what the Bianchi family claims, is that, yes, the report that they commissioned may have said that that it was his fault.
Right.
But what they're saying is that, no, we actually don't agree with that. The race actually shouldn't have happened under those conditions. You knew that there was a possibility of an accident, of a fatal accident, and you failed to do enough to prevent it.
I think a good counter to that is that everybody knows that every race is possibly can possibly lead to a fatal accident.
And this is what I think that got F1 to
you
the
can't calculate that
to the stupid problems that it is right now. I mean, I'm all for safety, and I think that, safety is definitely a worthwhile endeavor.
Ted should be able to wear his shorts and sandals whenever he wants to.
Exactly, and it was like it was just like, Jules was. It was tragic that he that he crashed, and it was very tragic what came out of all that. But it is a dangerous sport, and the fact that it is a dangerous sport, and the people like Joe Sayward goes on about this in one of his posts too. He said, "Listen, it's written in the back of every ticket. It should be dangerous because it is what they're doing is a dangerous thing. That's why it is a sport even to begin with. Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah, that's
why I watched the Grand Prix, and then I watched some guys fight each other last night as well, because that's dangerous and exciting too.
Yeah, it's so if you let and this is the kind of stuff that the FIA should be prepared to fight for, and I honestly think that Jules Bianchi's family now is a bit in the wrong when it comes to this.
Yeah. Probably hurt, I guess. But
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And
obviously,
Jesus. Yeah. Of course. But it is, and if there is a judge out there, or this is obviously not going to go to like. Actually, no, they are suing them in Britain. So if a British judge out there decides to be some sort of a bleeding heart and decides to rule for the Jules Bianchi family and screws this up, I think it's going to be just another one of those situations where people that don't have anything to do with the sport then change the rules and would eventually end up making the sport worse for everybody involved. Because saying that it was the FIA's fault, or saying that it was Bernie's fault 100%, and that nobody should have come out or whatever, as right as some of those statements might be, if they fully say that, then that's going to bring all kinds of liability issues into consideration for any race in the future that might spoil our enjoyment of F1.
Yeah, like the Monaco Grand Prix they could have been like, oh my god, it's raining.
It's too wet.
Yeah, not gone out. Come on, guys.
They did take a precautionary safety car start.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, these cars are actually. I mean, there's. Come on. I mean, yes, there was one death, and there should be no deaths in an ideal world. But let's be honest, he was the only death since Senna, since '93.
The only race death.
Come on, look
Maria,
at what
Maria died.
Well, it's fine, yes, during the race, but even two, two deaths
in 20 years
since Nirvana was still playing concerts. I mean, that's big. That's
since Nirvana's death.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, it's safe enough. People need to take a chill pill in many respects of life, and especially one of these. Leave the fucking motorsport alone. It's beauty the way it is right now. I think we've gotten to a point.
Halos aside.
Yeah, Halos aside and all that. Like,
Halo debate.
Look at what's happening this year. It's been a great year. We don't need to make it even more cumbersome for these people to put on a great show.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah. But the Monaco show, I don't know. It might be getting in its own way. We done with Jules Bianchi, I guess?
Yeah. Go on.
That's all I really want to say about that, I guess. Yeah. Can you pull up from the book I highlighted at the bottom? Oh, here we go. There we go. The Monaco, we talked about this last week, that there was a company possibly or probably run by the government of, not that, below. Although that picture is pretty cool too. So that picture, the first one, if you can go to that for a second even. Basically, what we said last week is that...
Sorry, hang on a second. I'm going to cut you off here 1 second. Just with this one thing that one of our viewers just pointed out. Apparently, the lawsuit was announced a few days after the Jules Bianchi Society was open. So, I mean, just, make of that what you will, but Jesus Christ, like, who are these people? Who is Jules Bianchi's family? Like, come on, just go to bed. Let sleeping dogs lie. Why you gotta? If this was something like a publicity stunt to bring attention to this Jules Bianchi Society, that's fucking low.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Anyway, gone. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not good at all. But
this is cool though. This is super cool. I'm so glad that they showed that.
So yeah, leave it here for 1 second. Last week we talked about these developments. They want to build some sort of.
Oh wait, no, that's not the picture that you want to show.
No, yeah, I do for a second.
Okay.
This kind of, it works because what they wanted to build down there is a bunch of restaurants, 6,000 square meters of floor space, however much that is. A bunch of restaurants, 2 museums, which will be run by the government there and whatever. And it's right down where the last two corners is, that last square corner. And what sits there now on the outside of that corner is the TV compound, which for F1 takes up a lot of space. All the whatever the FOM stuff, and this I guess is inside there. I would assume this is the race control.
That's race control. This is
on top of that new building on the inside of the corner.
That round building,
which I think was temporary as well, which is crazy.
Yes, it was.
But anyways, this is fed by the TV compound where they want to build. You can go to the second picture. That. Whoa. So where that square gray building is on the inside there, that's I think basically where the last corner is, and then this will be built. Excuse me.
So tight.
Oh, bless me. That will be built there with a bunch of restaurants, like some sort of pedestrian promenade. But it looks like that's going ahead. A lot of people don't like it because it looks too modern.
They want to say that it's like there's also going to house a museum of some sort.
Two museums.
Yeah.
It will include 52 luxury apartments, 250 parking spaces, an esplanade, an additional 6,000 square meter of office and retail space, which the state will own. And the company that's building it will manage the museums for 15 years. I don't know what one of the museums is to honor the man of the sea. The man in the sea, sorry. Yeah. But I don't know what else. That thing is going to take 4.5 years to build, apparently.
It looks like it will.
$330 million.
It's also full disclaimer, it's also not going to look like this actually when it's built. Buildings never do.
It will be real. And if you can put on that YouTube video
but
too.
Don't they want to, you were saying, don't they want to also like together with this, basically they're going to build like a higher speed stretch.
Not together with this, totally separate.
Okay.
So yeah, throw up this video is all in French. So you just turn the sound off. But basically on the other side where the hill is, so where there's the
this part. Oh shit. Yeah.
So you see that where the tunnel section of the circuit is, where they come down the hill and go into the tunnel.
Yeah.
Leading off of there, this project. This is called the Extension en mer de Monaco Techniques de Construction. If you want to look this up on YouTube. Basically, they're going to reclaim the sea. They're going to take rocks and dirt from up in the mountains behind the city and dump them all into the sea there to build the extra land, to build all that to the right and the left.
Oh, my God.
And I guess this will take more than 4.5 years.
Thus rendering all helicopter shoots of the race useless.
yeah, probably.
Bernie must be up in arms.
I guess there'll be some sort of height limit to that, I guess. But there's a possibility with the construction of that, if it goes ahead. That one is not approved yet. The first one we talked about is, if that land reclamation all here is approved, it leaves room for a possibly 1+ kilometer extension to the circuit, which hopefully wouldn't be designed by Tilke, I guess, but it could possibly...
Don't let Tilke's sticky fingers get to this.
There you go. They would build
this
up
is
this
our
wall.
plea. Flauta Fever disapproves of any Tilke tampering.
So you see how big that area is when you see the helicopter shot? It's a huge area they want to reclaim. Anyways, but they could do some sort of overtaking type scenario in that new area if this happens.
But I wouldn't like that, man. I think here's the thing. The track.
What?
The drive. You get the drive open.
Yeah.
Can you download that PDF?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure how I feel about this, because as much as I would like to see more overtaking in Monaco, and I'm sure that I speak for many people out there when I say this, is that you do not mess around. There's been way too many circuits out there that they've approached the huge changes to the circuit with all the good intentions in the world. They wanted to make him more exciting. They wanted to make him fast and more overtaking and
safer.
Safer. And what ends up happening actually in practice is that it makes it more boring. You get rid of a lot of the character of the circuit. And Monaco is special, and it's great because it stayed like that, and it stayed a challenge inside the driver's mind. They have to be so focused and so concentrated. If you start adding these modern sections, you know what's going to happen. They're going to add a huge runoff. They're going to ruin one of the existing corners.
Yeah, probably. the tunnel entrance, I guess, would be changed, or the tunnel exit would be changed. Either way. And then part of, like you just said, the character, the charm, the whole thing of Monaco is that, in quotes,
Yes.
the processional nature of the races.
Yes.
Because it's not always a procession.
But
That's the expectation, is what makes it great, because then you don't get a procession sometimes, and it's...
like this year, and
amazing.
this year's Monaco Grand Prix was so amazing
incredible.
because it wasn't that, and you're gonna get those races where it won't be that, and that's what people need to understand. Now listen, let's go back in time for a second. Joe Sayward put a recent article on how, and this is something that I kind of had been wondering.
This came from Joe Sayward, by the way. Development in Monaco is the article. This is where I got all this info from.
From May 19th.
This came from the same man.
Yeah, but Joe Sayward put in a good, and I was kind of thinking about, like, how did Monaco how did it become Monaco? How is it that Monaco itself as a city, like, came to be what it is?
It became like
today?
a city that's a country that's in France, but it's kind of not part of France.
Oh, well,
and
okay, see,
it's not French.
That is going like all the way down to like medieval history. But no, I'm talking about like in recent times. How did it become like the playground for the super rich, and how is that kind of linked with it?
Tax evasion.
Yeah, yes, but how is that kind of linked with the building of the race, right? And having this fantastic race there, and just to make a long story short, to put it in a quick few bullet points. So what happened is that at the turn of the, not this past century, the Y2K, but the one before, okay, 100 years, 116 years ago, whatever. Like at the turn of that century, we were in a situation where
Y19K.
yeah,
19. See,
19, yeah. We were in a situation where the richest country in the world was Britain. Right? The British Empire was one of its peaks, and you had a lot of wealthy British people with a ton of money that were moving southwards
out of the rain.
Yeah, out of the rain for the winter. So they did their wintering there, and
Actually.
they built these huge villas and huge mansions by the Mediterranean there in towns like Nice and whatever, like
Very close to Monaco.
The French Riviera, like very, very beautiful place in Europe, and they started building their villas and everything there, but Monaco at that point was just this state that, through like medieval manipulation, had managed to stay they managed to stay independent, not as part of France, even though they spoke French or whatever, but through some medieval deals and whatever. But it wasn't the place to be seen. It wasn't fashionable to be in Monaco back 100 and something years ago. And the Prince of Monaco at that time, in his little castle, decided that had to change. So he basically brought in, 100 years ago, he brought like big architects and whatever, and say, listen, this is what we have to play around with. My country's only 3 kilometers or 3 miles wide by 2 or 3 or whatever. It's actually just not sitting on a beach. It's just sitting on this rocky promenade. But what can we do? Right? And what can we do?
Hold the race?
Yeah. No,
my lord.
At first they started to it started with a hotel complex, and then they threw the casino. They threw the casino because they were like, you know what? What are these wealthy British types like? They like sport and they like to gamble. So they built them the casino. Which today, interestingly, if you are a resident of Monaco, you cannot gamble in the Monaco casino.
Really?
You have to be from outside of Monaco. Yeah. This is a thing. Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So anyway, so they built the casino, and they made sure, he brought like big architects. They made sure to make the casino like as grand as possible.
Yeah.
And they built some hotels, and from that, people were like, "Oh!" And then came the shops, and then came this, and with the added like little bit of wealth here and there coming in, people started bringing their cars, and then as a lure for the rich people to start moving into Monaco and to start developing there, that's when they introduced the tax-free thing. So any income and personal tax, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay any of that in Monaco. And as they introduced that, the rich people loved that.
Yeah.
So they they started to like buy property in Monaco.
Oh,
and
just pretend I live over there.
yeah. And then they brought their cars. And once they brought their cars, they started to they wanted to form an automobile club.
Right.
Now, the automobile club that was in Monaco those days was actually part of the French grand, like it was kind of allied with the French
The
national
FIA?
auto, or not the FIA,
before
before
the
the FIA, but it was kind of like, it was considered like the French. They were basically like a subdivision of the French, but they wanted to have their own, and it was this guy who was Anthony Nogue's parent, and Anthony Nogue is the person who's the last corner of Monaco is named after him, Nogue's Corner.
I was gonna say name sounds familiar.
Yeah. So Anthony Nogue's father, as a head of the what was then the Automobile Club de Monaco, went basically up to like the main certifying body of like these automobile clubs, the then equivalent of the FIA, and said, "Listen, why can't we just get a nation status of our automobile club?" And they were basically like, "No, you don't have too many. You don't have enough people. You don't have enough this. You don't have enough that, and you don't have a race." So it was basically So then they went back home. His son actually was the one that executed the plan for it, that Anthony Nogues, the last corner, and he was and this was, we mustn't forget that this was in an era where tracks were big open country roads like Spa, where tracks were huge, like Monza. There were big things, and they were basically, there was almost as much pushback. People were like, "You can't race through the streets of
Österreich.
you don't have enough room. What are we gonna do? Like, there's too many corners. What's gonna happen there?"
When you see those old ones, it's actually insanity. They're going past like sidewalk curbs, and those things were not welded down. Their drain covers.
Oh yeah,
back
no.
then.
But anyway, yeah. So basically the race came to be as one of the reasons, one of the reasons why the Automobile Club de Monaco like was then offered a nation status. And so they organized the race, and almost as a fluke, it ended up being a fantastic race, and it has pretty much stayed so since then. It is one of those races that you go
Is that
there.
the longest consecutive running?
Yeah.
I believe.
Well, and of modern F1, that's still
Yeah.
in modern F1. So and that's why they get the special treatment. That's why they get the special privilege. And I think that whereas some tracks do lend themselves for future development, I think that Monaco should be kept how it is, basically untouched.
Yeah. I wouldn't completely object to an extra kilometer. Why not? It's been like this for 70 years, 60, 70, 80 years, even more.
It'll still be Monaco.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
As long as the rest is still the same, that's cool. Like, I want them to extend the Österreich ring, the A1 ring, the Red Bull ring. That's
to bring it back to how it was.
yeah, I guess. It's a bit different. Let's look at, you get that PDF? You get that PDF? Let's look at that, talking about the same subject. Yeah, this one. So this, I don't know, this has come up, and there's been a lot of talk about Monza not being in F1 anymore. So, and this is the changes now. So scroll through this a bit. Near the bottom, you can see like a good overview.
So these are scheduled changes to the track. Go up.
This is just an example of
one of the chicanes. That's what they want to do with that chicane, to make it faster, right?
No. The first chicane is going to be eliminated. So the first straight is going to be all the way down. And I believe this is representing the Cueva Grande, which is also going to be eliminated. It's going to be changed into a slower right-hander and then a chicane like that, leading into the rest of the track. So scroll down, you can see like a full set of changes. Yeah.
So this is what it was before?
You can see where like the number 1 is. That chicane is there now. It's like a bus stop, basically. Bus stop chicane.
Oh, okay.
That comes off the straight. So now the straight you're gonna come straight out of the Parabolica and all the way down the straight, and that Curva Grande is gone, and they're gonna, so you see it's get replaced with where the C is, a tighter corner.
Curva grande
it says
in
in-
Italian means big.
The big curve.
The big curve.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it's not gonna be the big curve anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I guess that maybe that runoff isn't gonna be there because there's trees. I think, but where it says C is like the new line, inside of turn 1 and 2, where the guardrail is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, scroll down further. You can see a full overview of everything. These are all just like the engineer drawings. You see the elevation changes, the width.
This is amazing. Where'd you find this shit?
Don't worry about it. I believe this came from the company that did all the design work, all of this engineering stuff. We're looking through pages and pages of a PDF. You can find it.
Well, I guess we're gonna post a link to it.
Yeah, I'll post it. I'll post a link to it.
Yeah. For all our audio listeners.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
how you
PDF.
going? How you doing, audio listeners? We see that you guys are listening more and more. Thanks, by the way.
And these are all very slight changes to the existing corners. I guess they're just gonna move or slightly change where some of the barriers are. Like no actual track changes, but the bottom there you can see now.
What's the intended effect? Are they going for a faster Monza?
It's faster. The main straight's gonna be faster because that I think this started because they want to host MotoGP, and MotoGP can't go through that first chicane. But if you look where that chicane is, they just put up some barriers, and it can be eliminated now. It's paved straight now, right? The paving's already done, but going straight through there, you hit the grand curve, the big curve, way too fast. So that has to be changed. So it's being changed into a corner you're gonna have to brake for, the first one, and then brake 1 or 2 more gears down into that chicane, and then the rest of the circuit you're moving. And I guess the second chicane there will be
This one?
Yeah, you'll be hitting that slower now, but maybe you'll be able to take it faster because you're not braking as hard into it. The speed change will be different because you're not coming like normally. You get that first curve is taking like 200 or more. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. This is happening, and they said I guess the original will be preserved. It can be used still, but this is the new layout that's going to be used for bikes and cars, and I guess all classes. So they'll be looking to get this grade 1 approved.
Yeah.
And this is probably what we're going to see next year for 2017 with F1.
Oh, that's cool.
If the contract still isn't approved, right? Approved. It's not signed for Monza.
This is
for next year.
This is probably what they want, though. This if no,
yeah,
we haven't got an announcement yet, but this is gonna be like what's gonna secure. This is basically why they were dangling freaking San Marino. What's a freaking Jesus, I'm blanking out. Why am I blanking out? The Imola.
Imola, yeah.
That's why they were dangling Imola, like the whole Imola thing came to play. Obviously, they were just waiting for them to like be serious and sit down and like propose a number of changes, etc., etc.
Like, Imola needs so much upgrading, and who's going to pay for that? They're doing this, but I don't know. I don't think this is what's holding up F1 staying here. Is just that Bernie wants more money.
More money, yes.
And they want to bring MotoGP so they can earn more money, but that costs them money because they have to build this. So you
gotta spend money to make money.
That's how it goes. That's all I got for this week.
Okay, so you know what else happened? Okay, you know what else happened this past week? I know that you went and watched your fight after the Monaco Grand Prix, but you know what else was going on?
Last night?
Well, yesterday, yes.
Yeah, what?
Indy 500.
Oh yeah.
Now, okay.
We talked about that earlier.
Well, we were just talking about that. Yeah,
interesting result. Yeah, I forgot about that. Right.
Rossi, whatever, he won the Indy 500.
Alexander Rossi, Formula F1 driver, won.
Yeah,
as a rookie.
And he one of the comments from his team was that he apparently had no idea about ovals, and he went and won, and he was drinking milk on the podium. So that just goes to show you, I guess, like the skill level you need in F1 versus Indy 500.
But Rio Haryanto shows you the money
NASCAR
level
fans just tuned out.
Yeah, we see Rio Haryanto. He was fighting for that same seat as Rossi.
Yeah, I know.
And that shows you that money does beat skill a lot of the time. Haryanto sucked so bad yesterday that he got in trouble for sucking at letting people pass him. He got reprimanded for not following the blue flags, and he was having trouble letting cars get by him. And he finished 4 laps down, which probably should have been 5 or 6 laps down if he was letting cars go by as they should. And his teammate in the same car got 2 penalties more than anybody, and beat him by 2 laps. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I think Rossi might be back next year, especially after that.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah.
Maybe they can't afford him. Maybe because he doesn't bring money, but maybe he brings money now.
Maybe
he just won that. He just probably got a bunch
of increasing North American audience. Yeah.
He just got a big. That was the 100th running of the Indy 500.
Yeah.
They added
Oh my God.
an extra like 50,000 seats to the stadium. They had something like 15 law enforcement agencies doing security at the racetrack. Some crazy shit like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. But so, anyways, a lot of attention for Rossi. Hopefully, he threw an F1 reference in there.
Well, I mean, if anything,
Up on the podium.
these F1 and Indy fans, like if they look him up and they say like who won the 100th running of the Indy 500, they're gonna see it was Alexander Rossi. Oh, where the hell did he come from? Yeah.
Manor F1
And-
what? The worst team.
Welcome back, North American fans that are watching on or listening. There is another thing that also happened this past weekend.
What's that?
The first episode of Top Gear. The BBC Top Gear, and I know this is not
Oh,
by
the
any-
BBC one.
the BBC one.
That's not as exciting.
No, I know.
I
But,
thought you meant GP.
no. But GT.
GT.
Yeah.
Sorry. They
No.
sound the same. TP.
The first episode of the BBC new incarnation of Top Gear with Chris Evans and the
bad is it?
freaking what's his name, Matt LeBlanc and Sabine Schmidt. And,
Anybody get punched?
Yeah. No, but I don't know if you remember, but in this very show a few months ago, when we were talking about Top Gear, I said that I would sit and I would watch the entire first episode, and I'd come and tell
Such
us
a
how it was.
sacrifice.
What a sacrifice, man.
So I did, and I can tell you how it was.
Okay.
And this is also probably this is what I predicted back then. I said if it sucks, I'm just I'm still gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna watch one episode, and I'm not gonna watch it
That's
again.
how pilots work. You gotta watch the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
Judge
Yeah,
a show. You can't even judge a show by a pilot usually.
true, correct.
It's a
But
different type of pilot.
I said that I'd watch it, and if it was subpar, I'd never watch it again. And news, I'm not gonna watch it again.
That bad?
It was pretty bad, man. It was Matt LeBlanc. He did he did. They basically tried to like do like the old show. So they have they had an audience bit, then they had a review of a couple cars, then they had a challenge. Some sort of a cool little challenge between, and it's clear that it's gonna be like the main 2 stars are gonna be Chris Evans and Matt LeBlanc. Like they're gonna be like the the characters, and it was in one of their features. I'm just saying, like he. So what they were supposed to do was basically drive these Reliant Robins. I don't know if you know which the Reliant Robins are. These British cars that only have 3 wheels, but instead of like doing like many 3-wheelers for stability, they put 2 wheels at the front and then 1 wheel at the back. No, this one did 1 wheel at the front with the steering, and what that causes is that this car is very unstable. You can flip over very easily with it.
You know what? I've been to England when I was 13 or 14, I think, and then he's my mom's uncle, where we stayed for like half our trip there. We went a couple countries and stuff, but when we were in England, my mom's uncle there has one of those in yellow, like a fucking banana. I don't know if he still does now. 'Cause that was 15 years ago. 16, but we drove around it and it was kind of scary, man. Like,
Yeah, I bet.
yeah, you have to balance. Like, so me and my brother's 2 years younger, so we're both small kids.
Yeah.
And so like I guess my mom's in the front with him, and then you have to put the adult in the center in the back, the 2 kids on the side.
Yeah,
You have to balance it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Pull
no,
one up.
it's-
Pull up
it's
the picture of it.
Reliant
See if you
Robin.
can find one in yellow, just for
Yellow
my
Reliant
personal
Robin.
nostalgia.
But yeah.
So they had a race in one of those without rolling it.
Yeah, it was the challenge was to get from London to Blackpool. I don't know where that is in Britain, but it's I guess it's pretty far.
Black poo.
And the Matt LeBlanc's car didn't quite make his spoilers, by the way. Alert. But the whole interaction within that, there was that challenge, and then there was another thing that they did.
See the one flipped.
Yeah.
What's the other
These
one?
guys were shit. Anyway, in any time that there was supposed to be considered, clearly they were going for this. That there was supposed to be like the kind of relationship in between Chris Evans and Matt LeBlanc that Clarkson and James May or Clarkson and Hammond had. And it's
Except they developed it over like 15 years.
that's the thing. It didn't happen at all. It was like it seemed forced. Some critics have described the show as like the old show, but without the laughs. And it basically feels like that. Everything is, and it's so awkward to watch. Like, and Matt LeBlanc is clearly trying to be like, he busts up like a few things where he's like, ha 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 ha, like we say in America, or like, this is what we do in America, or whatever. Like,
I don't think he's actually a funny person. Like, he was on a comedy TV show and all that, and he was Joey and the funny like guy in the show, but I don't think he's funny in real life. Like, he's shown up at a few F1 races too.
Yeah.
And he always seems like he's almost nervous to be on TV when they ask him like, oh, but on the grid walk or whatever, and he's like, oh, you're just like racing and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's kind of
Joey Matt LeBlanc. He was, yeah.
how you doing? I'll stop saying that.
Basically Top Gear, new BBC Top Gear. I wouldn't recommend it for you guys. There was maybe like one feature there with the same people that did the Aerial Atom. Then they basically like built this desert buggy. It's kind of.
Oh, I think I've seen that thing online.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty fun car to drive, but. Exactly, like freaking Joey Matt LeBlanc was the one that reviewed. He did that review on his own, and it seemed like he was just trying to be Clarkson too much. Like he was trying to like review it as if Clarkson was reviewing it. Like he was even like
the same style humor.
Yeah, the same style of or trying. And oh man, some of the jokes that Chris Evans, on the other hand, tried to do when people doing like the star and the reasonably priced car when they do the laps around.
I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah, it was just like, some of the jokes were like either too forced or they just didn't hit. One other like just one more thing about the Top Gear, like I want to drop it, and I want to just say I don't recommend getting into it, but one thing that I did find kind of bold of them or whatever is that they are for their star and a reasonably priced car, how they used to do a lap around their circuit, their Dunsfold Aerodrome. Yeah. For that segment, they turned the circuit and they changed the car. Instead of being just a reasonably priced car, is World Rallycross spec Mini, and they do a Rallycross lap where half of it is tarmac and half of it is dirt.
So that's the format of the Star in the Car show?
Yes.
Oh, 'cause that's what I was just gonna ask you. Did they carry over the old times or anything?
No.
I guess they had to change.
They
need an excuse. They need a reason.
Oh, for sure.
Wasn't Matt LeBlanc was the fastest guy on the old show? Didn't he have the record?
No, but
speed?
he had a high lap for sure. But
I thought he was the top one.
No, he wasn't. But Dave Evans, the host, also had a time on that on the old charts too. Anyway, but yeah,
watch Jay Leno's Garage instead. If you like car reviews, he's got better cars. I think show up on there anyways.
Yeah. LaFerrari made an appearance or whatever. They talked about LaFerrari. Anyway,
I'm still gonna check it out. Who am I kidding?
The fact is that they did do the challenge was Rallycross, and it wasn't fun, and the commenting Chris Evans' commentary wasn't fun about it, and the track didn't look as challenging as maybe it should have been. But there is that thing. Remember, I've been telling you, man, Rallycross it's gaining popularity out there.
Yeah, I watched a couple with you. It's fun.
It's growing out there. But other than that, there's actually not a lot to redeem the show. Jesus, sorry, new Top Gear, or if you're a new Top Gear fan, I disagree.
Hopefully they'll iron out the parts that I'm sure they're gonna get a lot of social media reviews today.
Oh, 100%.
But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it'll get better. I'll check it out anyways. Make my own opinion, but.
On a closing note, I just wanna say one thing. I don't know if anybody has noticed, but it's 2 weeks till the Canadian Grand Prix.
Yes, can't wait. So excited.
It's
another mini vacation.
Excited.
Mini vacation.
Now that that's the next Grand Prix, like I'm super pumped. What's
Canada.
what are we gonna do next week for the podcast? Because we're leaving for Montreal on Wednesday, to be there for the open track day. So are we gonna I guess we're gonna put out like a quick, like a short show before we go. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can whatever. We'll just blog the whole weekend.
Oh yeah, I know. What we're gonna do in Montreal is gonna be, we have some things prepared for you guys. But before the as a I guess a pre-show to the Montreal Grand Prix, we will still have that, right? Like the regular podcast, right? You know,
Yeah.
a short one even.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess we'll see everybody there.
Yeah, we'll see everyone for the. We're leaving Wednesday. So
Wednesday, yes.
Tuesday we'll be back full show.
Yes, the next day.
Monday, Tuesday next week.
No, Tuesday.
Cool.
Yeah. And just to reiterate, if you've been showing up to or wanting to show up to our F1 at Betty's events and have been saving it for the Canadian Grand Prix, that we're going to show, not we, but that it's going to be shown live.
You're not going to get to meet us.
Well, yeah, we're not going to be there, but it's still going to be happening. Lots of people are probably going to go. The bar is going to be showing it, so don't worry. Upstairs at Betty's, we will be there. Well, we won't be there, but it will be
Nachos and
happening.
wings are still half price.
Yeah.
Or they will be.
And
The wings are great.
And if you're going to the Canadian Grand Prix, we'll see you there.
Yeah.
Awesome. See you guys later.
Cheers.